Okay, so this is a little guide to the model exemplar I've made. Up here on the screen you can see that this is within iBooks Author, and if you just click on preview it will load up as if you are looking at the magazine. In this case obviously I'm doing it on the computer, but you can easily do it on the iPad. So the first thing it does is it loads up the intro video. Now this of course could be any media. I've picked a music video, and as you can see I've already put some graphics over the top with the January 2020. But you could easily do a GIF, you could do a looped recording like I did with the creature before on the other one. You could do a cinematograph if you're feeling really brave. What's quite good about this though, although it is quite long, so you might want to think about the length of the intro, but for me I thought it was fairly appropriate. And I could argue that in my evaluation as to why it's this long, because after all it's a launch edition, so I wanted to have a big build up and I wanted to make it look really good. This mixes primary assets with secondary assets. So here you can see my primary assets and my front cover and my video there that I've put in with the launch issue and the graphics, and then the secondary assets, the music video. So I'd get marks for doing a split there. You see it automatically goes to the splash page. Now it's non-interactive, it's like that by design. So what I do is, as you can see here, that's where it is. So that's, if you follow the guide, that's where you'll put it. Down here I click on this, and this is actually my front cover, and this is designed, that's right there, and this one's designed to be interactive. So I've got an interactive image that I can go through. It's basically pointing to certain things on the front page. It's giving me a bit more detail. Now of course this magazine's quite heavy in text anyway, so you might want to design a front cover that's lighter on text and then have an interactive image that's got some more text on it, rather than having quite so much like that. And of course you can full screen it. On that I've got an image as well that I can click on, and it's basically a link to a download of a free MP3 which links to my TA, and then this one just gives you a little gallery of a little snapshot of some of the article content that you can see in my magazine, and again I can full screen that. So if I go on to the next page here, and as you can see there's a button there for me to scroll through. I'm particularly proud of this page, so I can't say that I designed it myself. This is one of the students of previous years. But you might just see a little box around the part of that image. And what it is I've done a screen grab of the original image, and then I've layered it back in as an interactive image, so that you can navigate around the image, and it's got a really cool effect. And I think if you were to do that, that would show a high degree of technical skill, and you'd definitely be getting some top level marks there yourself. Like you see, you can click off it and then it will return it back to normal. Very good. On to the next page. Well, again, you can see most of my layout here has been done on InDesign. I think it's really nice and clean. It's a bit small for an eMag, so probably would have designed that better if I was doing it from scratch. But at the bottom there's some interactive content there with the gallery. And then this third page is basically modelling to you how you can do the layout within iBooks Author, but I think you'll agree it's probably not as good. Here you've got a scrolling page which is going to get you marks for interactive content, and it also allows you to do some text wrapping within the software, but it doesn't look as good, it's not quite as professional. Here you can see different types of interactive elements through the widgets you can use. So I've got basically a quiz that I've put in. As you can see there, I've got the scrolling article and image as well. And I'm just going to model to you now how you can go through and do all the different types. It's not just text, you can do drag and drop onto images and make it quite cool and interactive. And of course any of these decisions you should definitely be making some commentary on in your evaluation. And then once you've submitted all your answers, it tells you how well you did. So I did 3 out of 4 on my own quiz. That wasn't very good. And then it resets. And of course you can also just embed video. So here's I've just edited down the long music video to about 30 or 40 seconds worth. You can scroll through, it allows you a whole degree of control over it. And then here's just some other suggestions of ways you could lay out. If in InDesign you've already designed a box that's empty within there, you can easily chuck in an interactive video over the top of it, and personally I think that's the way to do it. If I were you and I was aiming for a distinction, that's what I'd do. But then you might have a load of dead space at the bottom, and there you go. You've got a nice interactive image that you can full screen and take a tour around like the band members. Some good mixture of primary and secondary assets there. As I'll show you in a minute, you need to make sure that your image is properly sized within the software. It's very easy to do. It's a click and a drag, and then you're there. And then you can see there, as I'm just modeling to you, that you just click on the particular asset that you want to do, you just drag it into the position you want, and then you're away. So I think we're going to move now on to the final page. That's a model, and again, this is quite simple. It's a gallery at the top of a whole load of images that you can go in any particular order you want. You can put captions on them, you can put titles on them. You don't have to, like I haven't here. I've kept it nice and clean. You'll notice though that I have pulled the images down so that there's a correct amount of headspace, and following rule of thirds and so forth. Attention to detail will get you marks, sloppiness will lose you marks. But what's quite cool about this one is I've put the gallery at the top of the page rather than at the bottom. You don't have to keep putting the text at the top and gallery at the bottom. And here is another example to you of just being able to move around the magazine, jump to certain pages at your leisure, making sure you've named things correctly. You want to check all your menus, making sure things aren't just sloppily called chapter 1.1 and front cover, and it needs to be named and so forth. So that's essentially the guide. I hope that was useful. If you were to follow that, particularly the better elements that are in it, you'd be looking at a distinction for certainly Unit 14, Assignment 2, and most likely Unit 3.